Morning. It's Saturday morning. It's coming up to 9 o'clock. This is the first time I've vlogged this week. Not sure why, just been doing other things. Just getting on with stuff. And knitting. Yes, I'm knitting again. It's official. I know a few people said, oh, do a knitting video or, do knitting tutorials and things like that. I'm not a good enough knitter to be able to do any of that kind of stuff. Honestly, I just couldn't. It wouldn't be right because I'm not an expert. I don't even know how to correct mistakes. I really don't. If I go wrong, I have to unravel the whole thing and start again. I've done that twice this morning. Seriously. Rewind to yesterday. I can't remember what happened yesterday. I have no idea. I think I was knitting. The day before, I have no idea. But what I do know is that it has been raining quite a lot. And this morning is the first day, it seems, in ages that we've had any fine weather. But it feels damp and cool. Oh, there's Paul coming back from the plot. Yeah, this is the first time I've actually got the phone out to film myself. Hold on. Weather-wise, it is getting cooler. I've had the heating on for an hour this morning, just to send a little bit of warmth around the house. I've got the dehumidifier on. We're using it every day for the whole day. So it's on for 8+ hours and it's filling the tank each day. So humidity levels are high. Simply because it's been so wet. But yes, the dehumidifier is doing its job. Let's have a look at the temperature this morning. 16.7 in the house. That's an absolute luxury. 14.2 outside and going up. Pressure is rising and it's almost 9 o'clock. So I know a few of you are dying to know about my knitting. So let's sit down in here and have a little knitting discussion. Oh, no, that's what I want to show you. Hold on. In here, the Christmas, the winter cactuses, cacti, both are acceptable, are flowering like crazy, all at the same time. Look at that fluffy pink gorgeousness. Oh, I've just noticed that's leaning against the wall. I don't want rotten petals on my wall. That one's coming out. This orange one's coming out. And we've got another pale pink one coming out as well. Lovely. Absolutely lovely. And the one in the downstairs loo is flowering. In fact, 2 in the downstairs loo are flowering. I think they just really enjoy being in a cool house, to be honest. Gorgeous. And this little one. So, knitting. Let's have a look at the needles that I dragged out of the cupboard the other day. So I'm using a tote bag. I think this was this gifted to us by Dave and Courtney? A couple of these. They're great. Love them. They're really sturdy as well. So, yarn. These are the bamboo knitting needles that I've got. A whole stash of them. And I've got a couple of these as well. These big ones. These are 15mm ones. And I'll show you what I'm working on at the moment. So I bought some yarn. And the reason I bought this colour, which is mulberry, is because it was the cheapest cotton yarn in this colour. It's not necessarily my favourite colour, although I don't mind it. But I'm working on dishcloth. So there we are. And it's a really interesting knit. I was inspired by my friend who knits them and has gifted them to me. on a number of occasions. I've got a really good collection and I love them. And I thought that might be a really interesting project to work on because I was really intrigued as to how these lovely, attractive holes around the border are created. So I've had to learn a stitch called yarn over. It's not really a stitch as such, but it creates a stitch. So this actually started off with 4 stitches here, and then yarn over both does 2 things. It creates a new stitch on the needle, and it also creates a hole as it goes. So this pattern is basically knit 2, yarn over, where you simply bring the yarn forward through the needles and then knit the next stitches as normal. Knit 2, yarn over, knit the rest of the row. And you keep on doing that, and this triangle miraculously grows. Which obviously is going to increase and increase each time you do yarn over. You get a new stitch until you reach the amount of stitches that you want for this dishcloth. And then you reverse the process with a different stitch called knit 2 together and yarn over. So yarn over is an increase and knit 2 together is a decrease. Yeah, so I think that when you reverse, it's knit 1, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2 together, and knit to the end. And that will basically do the same, but on a decrease. So, yeah, there you go. That's my first knitting project in this new knitting journey. My knitting journey. Yeah, so whenever I do something new, I will share it with you. So there you go. Now I just got a message from a friend, just popped up. My friend that went to Canada, looks like she's just arrived back at Heathrow. So yeah, we thought she was arriving yesterday, but clearly it's today. Right, not that we're picking her up or anything like that, it's not a problem. So there you go. So I got 3 balls of this mulberry cotton. So I will probably do something else. Sorry, I'm not concentrating on the filming. I do apologise. I may do something else with it. The dishcloth project is really a way of me practicing, trying to be as neat as possible. And also because it's quite a thin needle that I'm using, I'm actually using 4.5mm needles. It recommends 5, but when I started on 5, and I don't know, it didn't seem very neat. It sort of looked a bit messy to me, and I thought I want something a little bit more fine. So I thought maybe I'll try thinner needles and maybe that will work. I don't know, I'm not an expert. So there we are, nothing else to report. I'll see you later. Good evening, it's Sunday evening. It's been a busy day. Earlier on today, we recorded the next episode of Rich and Paul Cook. We cooked our lunch, and you will see that episode tomorrow. And we're cooking Bubble and Squeak. I'm not going to say any more about it because we do plenty of chat all about what exactly Bubble and Squeak is and what it means to us. What else have I been doing today? So we've just been moderating Vivi's live show as well, which went really well. So that was great. Absolutely super. She's been meaning to do one for a while, but hasn't got round to it. And her internet was stable, which is good, because that was the issue that she always used to have in London. It just didn't used to play ball. So what else have I been doing today? I've been continuing with my knitting as well. Hold on. I actually had to abandon the other one because I went really horribly wrong and found it really difficult to sort it out. So I had to start again, and I decided to start again on larger needles. And yeah, this one's okay. I think there was one error, but Other than that, it's going well. So I just need to do a few more rows to make it slightly bigger, and then I'll start the reverse process to reduce it. What I've been trying to do is actually observe what happens when you knit something together. To be honest with you, whenever I try to rectify a mistake, it's just like looking into a bowl of noodles, messed up noodles. It doesn't sort of make sense to me how knitting actually happens. It's kind of quite magical to me. You know, you do this and this happens, and you do that and that happens. But I want to really try and expand my understanding of exactly what goes on when yarn is knitted together, in order to be able to rectify a mistake should it happen, because I know that's how experienced knitters tend to work. You know, I've had friends say, oh, that's fine, you know, if you drop a stitch, this is how you pick it up, or if you add an extra stitch, this is how you rectify it, you know. So when I unraveled the previous piece, I sort of tried to see how it happens, and I actually did try to thread the needle back on, but I wasn't fully successful. I'm simply not experienced enough. But I'm quite enjoying it, and I'm going to do a few more rows this evening. I'm trying to be very careful and neat with my work as well. So, yeah, I think that's it for today. I'll see you tomorrow. It's about, I don't know, coming up to 6:30. Sort of been awake since 5, I think. It's just starting to go light. See those bright lights, planes coming into Heathrow. And then the moon. And it's feeling a lot cooler. Nice and fresh, but much cooler. Look at that lovely band of colour. Monday morning, I'm in the snug. I've just been catching up on comments and news and all of that. It's much colder this morning. It really is. The air has become fresher, cooler and drier as well. I've noticed the humidity levels are now a lot lower, which is good. We've had porridge for breakfast, and my goals for today are to finish that piece of knitting, to take some photographs of the cactus, the flowering cactus, and to have a bath. We've made a couple of videos in advance, so the cookery videos for this week are sorted, which is great. So by the time you see this, you'll have seen, hopefully, my video for the gorgeous chocolate fudge brownies with no chocolate, using cocoa and no eggs, but using condensed milk. They are absolutely divine. They really are. So you'll have seen that, and then tomorrow you've got the next episode of Doodah, Richard and Paul Cook. I'm going to get on with my day. So I'm not very happy. I was doing my knitting and I'd got to the point where I'm reversing and going back, doing a decrease, and I made a mistake. This is the problem. I'm not proficient enough to be able to mend a mistake. I don't know what happened. I really don't know what happened. But I either dropped a stitch or didn't knit a bit. I'm not sure. And there was just absolutely, there is no way that I can fix it. I'm not competent enough, and my brain is not logical enough to work it out. I tried to work it out, so I've just unraveled it. I know it's only a dishcloth, but it took me quite a long time to do. And I've put the whole thing away. I've put the bag away for the moment. Otherwise, it's going to drive me insane. I tried looking on YouTube. There was really nothing that was that helpful to me at that moment. So, yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it for a little while because I'm just so annoyed about it. It was going really well. And I was doing it really well and being really careful. That's the annoying thing. It's not actually the piece of work itself. It's the fact that I was being really careful. And I really don't know what happened. I'm just so annoyed. So yeah, I've put it to one side now. I've put it away in the cupboard because I just can't afford to spend any more time on it. So what my plan is, when I pick it up again, because I will pick it up, I'm just annoyed in this moment. I'm going to just do a plain knit, and I'm going to deliberately make mistakes because that's what I really need to get my head round. I can knit, I can purl, I can knit two together, I can do yarn over, I can cast on. Can't remember how to cast off yet, but you know, so I can knit and I've practiced, and that's how I'm going to view this, as some practice, some learning of new skills. But what I really need to get to grips with is how to fix mistakes. That's really important. Because if you are being ultra careful and you then make a mistake, I can't be unraveling every piece of work that I start and make a mistake in. You know, that's just ridiculous. So I really need to learn how to fix mistakes and how to see what's happened, you know? I mean, I've watched a few videos and they say things so quickly and they assume that you know a lot. There are very few videos that I've been able to find that really, really take things very slowly and really show you in detail exactly what's going on. Very few. I think there are a lot of people out there who don't step into other people's shoes when they're putting something together like a tutorial. For an absolute beginner, my brain doesn't work in a way that easily sees what's going on with knitting or weaving. I find it hard to work out. So, yeah. So annoyed. But hey, that's life, isn't it? Can't all be positive, lovely and fluffy all the time, can it? No, I know that. Yeah. Anyhow, that moment is being temporarily put to bed. I'll see you later. So I've moved on now from that little episode, and I've come back because I forgot to mention that I cut my hair again. Yeah, the fringe was too long, so I've chopped the fringe, and there was some areas at the back that were too thick, so I've cut those back as they should be. I think when I did them last time, when I did the cut last time, I wasn't paying attention and I was a little bit rushed. So I took my time, and I also did Paul's for him as well. So he's having a bath at the moment. I've had a lovely bath as well. Well, I say it was lovely. The hot water started to run out because we've reached that time in the year where the hot water doesn't stay very hot for very long in the tank. During the summer it does. It'll stay hot for a couple of days, but not at this time of year, not with the temperatures dropping like they are at the moment. It was cold last night, and I think it's going to be cold again tonight because it's quite clear. More's the pity. Let's have a look at the temperature, shall we? Hold on. It's dark. So inside it's 13.6, 69% humidity, and it's 4.7 degrees outside, and it is dropping. So there is potential for some frost. It would be nice to go out and have a frosty walk if it is frosty in the morning. Not sure whether it'll be that frosty, but it's certainly going to be cold in the house, so we're going to have to hunker down and use the little heaters. But what I am doing is using the heating very minimally at the moment. So I'm using the heating in the morning. This is the central heating. Heating in the morning for about an hour, and in the evening for about an hour. And in between, we use the electric heaters for a little boost of heat. And that's not too bad. I mean, it's feeling pretty cool in here at the moment, but it's not too bad. And what I do at night is put the heated throw on the bed between the sheet and the duvet. So put that on for an hour, and that warms the bed through, because the one thing I absolutely dislike is going to bed in the cold. I'm not doing it. But you see, all of that usage, that minimal usage, is kind of clocking in at over £5 a day on a cold day, which is just outrageous. Hey ho, c'est la vie. What can you do about it, Richard? Nothing, apart from keep control of what we use. There we go. That's it. I'll see you later. Isn't it amazing? Upstairs, the glorious rising sun is beaming in and bathing the room in golden light. And down here, it's still dark. Yeah, Alexa, middle room on. That's better. So it is Tuesday morning, as you saw, beautiful sunrise, but it's very cold. There was a relatively light frost, I reckon, although it is touching the rooftops. And I had to de-ice the car for Paul this morning because I'm a northerner. I know how to do that. I'll share my secret with you. I don't scrape. I use a plastic food bag filled with hot water from the tap, not the kettle, not boiling water, just warm to hot water. Fill it up, well, not fill it up, put some in it into the bag, and then just tie it off, and then smooth it over the icy surfaces, and it will melt the ice pretty quickly without the need to scrape. Yeah, I did that for Paul, and he's gone off to Vanessa's for the day. Lucky him, because he'll be where there's heating. I've just had the heating on for an hour this morning, and already it's topped £1.50. Yesterday was a really energy heavy day for us, cooking and doing various things, having heating on. Yeah, I think it cost well over £6 yesterday, which is crazy. Yeah, but hey ho, it's a real source of anxiety, put it that way, when it gets cold and you know that you've got to heat the house, and It's important that the house is heated too. You know, we've said before, this is a detached property. We do not benefit from anybody else's heat. So, you know, this room has got 2 big external walls. The bedroom's got 3 external walls. We're exposed basically on all sides. So it is, yeah, it's expensive to heat it nowadays. Yeah, but hey ho, shut up, Richard. People are getting bored with that. Oh, really? So what's on my agenda for today? The answer is, I don't know at this moment in time. I'm going to let the day unfold. There will be some housework. There will be some cookery. There will be a little cleaning here and there. I'm going to get on with my day. It's only early though. It's only about, I don't know, what time is it? 20 to 8. 20 minutes to 8. So I'll see you later. God, these big lights aren't very flattering at all, but it enables me to see in the kitchen. I'm making an omelette and we're having it with oven chips, homemade oven chips. We were gifted some potatoes, which is lovely, from a plot neighbour of Paul's. So we've got some leftover vegetables from yesterday's dinner, some beetroot and turnip and some leaves. And what I'm going to do is throw some onion in, throw the chopped vegetables in, throw some frozen peas in, and make an omelette with 2 eggs. And I'm also going to put some cheese in there as well. How lovely. Paul's on his way home. I put a little oil in there. Found half an onion in the fridge, fairly finely chopped. Throw it in. I've made my chips already. They're in a bowl of water. I've got some cheese out. These are the veggies that are left over. Some leaves. Some turnip and beetroot. I'm just going to chop those up. I'm going to throw in a handful of frozen peas. Actually, I may as well finish them. There's only a few. There we go. Need to chop up these veggies. Throwing it all in. All I need to do is cook these till they're nice and hot, and then what I'll do is put the lid on and then make the omelette right at the last minute. I need to get those chips on though, because they'll take about half an hour. That looks colourful. Always try and eat the rainbow. I think we've said that continually. And this is a good dose of veggies for an evening meal. The way I do my oven chips is a good amount of olive oil. I've got the oven set to 200. And I know it seems a bit faffy, but I take each chip and I just coat it in oil. I don't always peel the potatoes, but I have in this occasion because they were quite grubby. I would have had to have scrubbed them and scrubbed them. I couldn't be bothered, so I just peeled them. So yeah, just basically just make sure each chip is coated in oil. This helps to stop them from sticking. But actually, and I've said this before, you want a few to stick because that makes extra crispy bits, which is always a positive. So yeah, I'm just going to carry on with these and get them done, and then hopefully by the time I've done this, the oven will be ready to receive them. So there they are, ready to go in. My oven's not fully heated up just yet. Let me just turn it down a little bit to see how far it's got. It's only up to 140. I need it to be really hot before they go in, and they'll cook for 15 minutes to begin with, and then I'll toss them, and then they'll cook for another 15 minutes and they will be done. So it's about half an hour in total, but I'll show you them when they come out. So I've added my egg mixture, just 2 eggs with a splash of water, and then I've topped it off with the cheese. I'm waiting for the base of it to solidify, and then I'll bung it onto the grill to brown it, and I'll show you the finished results. So there's the omelette with a little bit of browning on top. I guess it's more of a sort of vegetable hash than an omelette. Time to get the chips out and serve up. We're having baked beans with it. Chips are nice and crisp, ready to eat. So that's a good steaming hot plate full of gorgeous food, Paul.
It is, yeah.
Try my vegetable omelette.
Omelette?
My
it's
omelette.
It's like an amulet. You can wear it as well around your neck.
My special omelette filled with vegetables and gorgeousness. Gosh, it's so cold. We're really steaming up in here. Right, well, we're going to get on and eat this now before it starts to go cold, because it will.
But you have got the oven door open. And
I've got the oven door. Yeah, I have. Bye for now. Morning. It's Wednesday morning. I was just sitting here in the dining room, and I noticed out of the corner of my eye a few flakes of snow. It's snowing. Not very heavily, but it is snowing. I actually think it's sleet. So I can hear raindrops. I wasn't expecting that. Oh, goodness me. No, not expecting that at all. Amazing. Just sort of keeping my eye on it, lest it should get any thicker. I'm just looking now, and there's some big flakes falling. Wow, it won't stick because the ground is very damp, but I think it's just at that temperature where snow can fall. Not too warm, not too cold. Because of course the snow is formed way up high, where the temperatures are much cooler. But it needs to be cool enough for it to stay frozen, I guess. But it's mixed with rain, definitely, because I can hear raindrops. You don't normally hear snowfall. Hey, anyway, what am I up to today? Well, I think one of the things that I'm going to do, we just sit down having a cup of tea. We've just had breakfast. One of the things that I want to do is build a fire, because I think tonight is going to be very cold. In fact, let's have a look at the temperature now. Gosh, really looks like it's coming down. So it's 2 degrees outside, it's 12.4 inside, and it's 10 to 9. So yeah, the forecast, I believe, is for it to be pretty cold tonight. So, wow, big flakes. Wow. I'm always so distracted by snow, I really am, because we see it so rarely in London. But of course, as children, we were used to it. We used to get it most years living in Macclesfield, which is quite high up. It's sort of a step up from the Cheshire Plain, which is relatively flat, and you sort of go up to that section of Cheshire, which is also on the edge of the Peak District. So we would always get snow, and very often it would be around for a couple of weeks. And we would simply play out in the snow all day. So I love it. Anywho, yeah, I'm going to build a fire. Definitely the first fire of the season. So I've decided not to build a fire just yet because I will be really tempted to light it. And seeing as it's only 9:30 in the morning, I don't think that's a good idea because I would run out of fuel very quickly. I've got the coal scuttle full of coal, and I've got the rest just outside at the back door. There's only really one bag of coal, so I don't think it's a good idea until later. And that's when I'll light it. I'm going to get on with housework this morning. Is that a bird or a squirrel? Something in the tree? Not sure. It's certainly a cold day for the wild animals outside. It really is. I may throw some bird seed out later. What is that? Oh, it's a bird. Oh, it's a starling eating some of the berries off the palm tree. Good. Anyway, I'm going to conclude this week's vlog now so I can get it uploaded. Yeah, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.